in the world did I just sit through? What did I just witness? I'm pretty sure I just had years shaved off the back end of my life. What a tough, ugly watch this game was. And on top of it, they lost. They lost.
When the Indiana Fever faced the Los Angeles Sparks on Saturday night, fans expected a different outcome. But what seemed like a normal game quickly turned into yet another example of poor refereeing in the WNBA, and this time, the proof...
One thing with that last play that I'm speaking about, it seemed like they called it a loose ball foul at first, which would have been favorable for us because we have them in the bonus. Yeah, we were in the bonus with 5.5 minutes left to go. First time all season, I was shocked. We grabbed the rebound. Looked like they called it a loose ball foul. Yes, we could go to the free throw line. Oh, they changed it.
The Fever lost to the struggling Sparks, 89-87. But the final score wasn't the real story. The real shock was how the refs ignored basic player safety, especially when Sophie Cunningham got grabbed in the face right in front of them, and they did nothing.
LA Sparks just got the spark versus the Fever for some reason, man. But the Sparks always have matched up well with the Fever since last season, man. Tough ending for the Fever girls. Just some missed free throws, some questionable shots. Could have got it, man. Close game. I ain't even mad. The intensity is there, man. This team, if they can keep up this intensity, is going to be real nice when Caitlin Clark...
This wasn't just another bad night from the refs. It showed clear bias and everything that's wrong with WNBA officiating. Sophie Cunningham was tackled to the ground during a 50-50 play, then had her face grabbed, and the refs didn't call a single thing.
Referees, let's just blame the referees and say, hey, but you called a loose ball foul. This was a game that we should have won. Again. And a game that we lost, unfortunately. 89-87, Los Angeles Sparks defeat.
Meanwhile, Sydney Carlson made a clean defensive play. She only touched the ball, and the refs still called a foul. It got even more ridiculous when they spent nearly 5 minutes reviewing it on the monitor, even though it was clearly a legal play.
Disaster. This was a disaster. The Indiana Fever cannot keep losing to teams like the LA Sparks if they're supposed to be a good team. And Rickea Jackson, she just flat abused the Fever in the last 3 minutes of the game. Seriously, what?
The contradiction was mind-blowing. Cunningham got tackled and had her face grabbed, and the refs did nothing, like they weren't even paying attention. But when Carlson made a textbook defensive play, just using her hands on the ball, the refs were quick to blow the whistle. The double standard was so obvious, even the broadcasters couldn't hide their confusion.
Sydney Carlson, man, shout out to her, dog. I can't overlook her. 6 points, 5 assists, 2 rebounds with that intelligent block. Like it. 2 of 4 from the floor and then 2 of 3 from the 3. I mean, she was shooting like she was the scorer of the team. She put on her airy bag tonight.
If you're enjoying this, please subscribe. This is the same Sophie Cunningham who's been standing up for her teammates all season, especially when Caitlin Clark was being targeted by opponents. Now, she's the one who needs protection, and the refs completely failed her. On Saturday night, the footage clearly shows Julie Van Loo grabbing Cunningham around the neck during what should have been a routine loose ball. But instead of calling a foul, the refs ruled it a jump ball, like hitting someone in the face, and neck is just normal basketball.
We talk about this. We are circled on everybody's schedule. Everyone, no one likes us, right? So everyone in our locker room, that's the only type of people that we have that we can lean on, and we got to be better in that area. We have got to stay disciplined. We have to stay focused. We need to get consistent, and we got to lean on each other. And I think that we've kind of wavered a little bit on that. We have our own islands, but as one of the leaders on the team, I got to do a better job of grouping people, right? In the fourth.
What makes this even more frustrating is that it's the same referee crew who spent 5 minutes reviewing Sydney Carlson's clean block on Rickea Jackson. She clearly got all ball, but the refs still called it a foul at first. It took them forever to correct a call that should have been obvious. That's not just bad officiating, it's selective enforcement. Some players get protected, others get ignored. When Cunningham gets grabbed in the face, the refs act like they didn't see it. But when Carlson plays perfect defense, they're quick to blow the whistle. This kind of double standard has been hurting the Indiana Fever all season, and Saturday night was the clearest example yet.
Went with Lexi Hull in the starting lineup, and she was just trying to get charge calls all night, trying to get the charge calls because she was lacking with the size with Rakia Jackson. So I understood why she was doing it and trying to get Rakia in foul trouble. It was smart. But at the end of the day, that last play, you never flop and give the ref the game to call. You never flop in the clutch moment, man. I'm sorry. I didn't.
The absurdity hit a new level when you realize the Fever lost to the Los Angeles Sparks, one of the worst teams in the WNBA. The Sparks came into the game with a 5-13 record, second worst in the league. They've struggled all season, yet they beat the Fever largely because the refs refused to call obvious fouls and made phantom calls on clean plays. Caitlin Clark was clearly missed. And for anyone claiming the Fever are better, without her this game proved that idea is ridiculous. Without their star, Indiana not only had to fight the Sparks, but also the refs. With Clark on the floor, they likely would have won easily.
Point out the obvious, a lot of people said it. We can officially rest in peace. R.I.P. Undertaker, Tombstone Piledriver. The theory that this team is better without Caitlin Clark. ESPN, you got your ears on? We can officially Tombstone Piledrive that BS. If you can't see how incredibly limited the Indiana Fever are on offense without CC, you're either not watching or you don't know what you're watching.
The Indiana Fever are 9-9 on paper, but it feels more like 10 losses just from the refs alone. Every game turns into a fight not just against their opponents, but against officials who seem determined to make things harder. When you're forced to challenge obvious calls and watch violent plays go unpunished, it's clear the system is broken. In the first quarter, Sophie Cunningham was grabbed around the neck by Julie Van Loo while diving for a loose ball. The contact was clear, unnecessary, and should have been called a foul immediately. Instead, the refs called it a jump ball and showed zero concern for Cunningham's safety. Meanwhile, Sydney Carlson made a perfect defensive play and got called for a foul. The Fever had to challenge it, and the refs still spent nearly 5 minutes reviewing what was clearly a clean block. Think about that. Grab someone by the neck? Play on. Use textbook defense? That's a foul that needs endless review. This isn't just bad officiating, it's dangerous. The inconsistency is so obvious, it's putting players at risk. And for the Fever, the message is clear. You're on your own out there.
5 assists, no turnover. Colson, she played herself a good game. Michaela Timpson, 5 points, 1 block, really 2 blocks. I'm not sure why it's only talked about as 1. 6 rebounds. Michaela Timpson looked great today. Michaela Timpson looked pretty good today. I gotta be honest. 3 fouls in 12 minutes, not what you would like to see. 1 foul was definitely.
The Indiana Fever's loss to the Sparks was heartbreaking mainly because it came against a team they should have easily beaten. The Sparks, now 6-13 after this win, are one of the worst teams in the league. This was supposed to be a statement game for the Fever, even without Caitlin Clark and playing at home. Instead, it turned into yet another example of how bad officiating can completely change a game. What made it worse was how close the game stayed. The Fever battled hard, even without their superstar, and despite some truly awful calls. Aaliyah Boston led the team with 23 points and 12 rebounds, while Natasha Howard added 21 points and 9 rebounds. The effort was there, but it wasn't enough to overcome both the loss of Clark and the clear bias from the officials.
And also Howard. Howard was doing a big one too. 8 of 11 from the field, 21 points, had 4 turnovers. Have to take care of that ball, but 2 blocks, 1 steal, 3 assists, and 9 rebounds. Howard has been consistently giving us everything she got out there, man. So I have to give it to her. She's been giving us everything she got. So shout out to her. Yeah, they took care of the ball pretty well today. They took care of the ball pretty.
The Fever missed their last 5 shots, including 4 in the final minute, as the pressure of playing shorthanded and battling bad officiating finally caught up to them. When you're constantly fighting both your opponent and the refs, closing out games becomes almost impossible. Every possession feels heavier when you know the calls won't go your way. This loss shows everything wrong with WNBA officiating and how it's hurting the league's competitive balance. Teams like the Fever have to be nearly perfect while dealing with missed calls and blatant bias, while their opponents get away with dangerous plays like grabbing a player by the face and neck. The Sophie Cunningham incident was a new low. She was clearly grabbed around the neck, and the refs just ignored it. Yet they spent 5 minutes reviewing a clean defensive play by Carlson. It shows how far the officials have drifted from their real job, protecting players and keeping the game fair. Just because Cunningham laughed it off doesn't mean the refs did their job. They didn't.